Welcome everyone to another live stream. Hopefully you're all doing great. We should be live and good to go. Let me know if everything works fine. Everything should be working fine. And I'll just pull this up on YouTube so I can see for myself. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, Hamid Rahim. All right. So as always, we'll be taking a look at Bitcoin. We'll be taking a look at some altcoins because a lot of the altcoins that we have been okay. So let me check. Okay, there you go. This should do better now. All right. Yeah, I had the wrong camera on. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, Axis. How are you? I missed you. I missed you too, guys. Yeah, I've been a bit busy for the past few weeks on the weekends. Couldn't really stream, unfortunately. Had some family matters to attend to, but now it should be all good. All right, so let's quickly take a look at Bitcoin because I do have a few interesting charts to show you. So the first one is, of course, on the weekly chart. If we go and do a full screen view, you can see that we can ignore the vertical lines here for the halvings. Take a look at the Fibonacci retracement. So we go back to 2015 and the bear market bottom. So we set up a Fibonacci retracement from the bottom here to the all-time high at the time. And once we start recovering, we run into the 786 Fibonacci and we get a rejection from there. So this happened right over here. This was June 2016 at $717. Then we move up to the next cycle and we have a bottom in 2018 over here. So we set up a Fibonacci from the bottom to the all-time high at the time, which was December 2017 at 20,000. Then we start retracing from that point. We run into the 786. We get a rejection again. Moving to the current cycle, we print a bear market bottom, November 2022, which we also talked about on Twitter at the time. So I was fairly sure that that was going to be the bottom, or any low we would get during the November 2022 was going to be the bottom. We were targeting some lower prices like $14,000, I believe, but we ended up hitting 16,800, which was our target as well. And from there, that was it. But taking a look at this Fibonacci retracement, you can see we took the bottom to the all-time high. And now what is happening over here is that we are breaking above the 786. So we are not getting a 786 rejection like we did in the previous two cycles. And this is something really important to notice because this means if we continue pumping like this, right, we could have the all-time high printed much sooner, and we could have the bull market peak printed much sooner. So I know a lot of people are expecting the top to be printed sometime between September to December 2025. If we have a very bullish, we could say super cycle, right? People love using that term. If we have a super cycle, then there is a chance we're not going to be seeing a super long bull market because we're just going to get super overextended very, very quickly. But this is one thing to pay attention to. Nice to be back, my friend. It's nice to be back. I'm glad you guys have been waiting for me. So feel free to send in some of your altcoin requests. We'll take a look at all of those. Thank you all for joining. Everyone who's joining, feel free to leave a like and send in your altcoin. We'll be taking a look at some, and I'll probably show you a few low cap gems from my Patreon just so you can get an idea of what you can expect with the coins that we mentioned there. But going back to Bitcoin, this is a really important, piece of information for you to understand, is that history doesn't necessarily repeat, but it does rhyme. And we don't know how much of a rhyme we're going to get this time around because obviously we have the ETFs, we have a lot more big players manipulating the markets. But I am expecting the peak to be printed sometime in 2025. In all honesty, if we get very overextended in the first half of 2025, I will be taking profits, especially if Bitcoin goes above, $100 to $110,000. I will be taking profits, and my patrons will be advised first on that, of course. So going back to the other charts that I have for Bitcoin, I think this is the one that I want to take a look at. Yeah. So this is the one that we've been using for quite a while now, and this one caught the bottom very nicely in December/November 2022. We've been retesting this support for a very long time, and by the looks of things, right, if we want to adhere to this channel pattern, then if we go to, I don't know, March 2025, we're going to be sitting at $260,000, which I don't think that's going to play out. I don't think that's going to play out. That's a bit too high. Of course, anything can happen, but I'm not going to be holding my bags to $260,000. That's just not going to happen. But let's take a look at the weekly chart here for Bitcoin. So you can see that the price is getting overextended from the EMA here. This is not a bearish thing by any means, but this does raise a few eyebrows, because if we're getting too overextended, there's always the chance for a correction. Now you can see we're already printing a bear divergence here. I don't know why it doesn't represent it like it did over here, because we are definitely printing a bearish divergence, and I can show you why. So the price action is printing a higher high, okay, but the RSI here is printing a lower high. Simple as that. So that is a bearish divergence. And the last time we had one was back in May 2023. From there, we had a nice retracement. We back tested this support block that I gave you in August. And from there, we had a massive move to the upside. So if you followed my videos, if you followed the live streams, you would have had a really nice entry point at roughly $25,000. Next up, after this move to the upside in November and January 2024, we were expecting another pullback. And I gave you a few levels here and there. But what we did have what precisely was retested is 38,500, which again was our target for that retracement. That was our minimal target, so to speak, the 38,500. From there, we're already up 35%. So, I mean, what can I say? It's these levels do work. They do work. You can clearly see they work, and you can go back to my previous live streams and take a look at all of that information. But we definitely need to cool down a little bit. We're definitely getting too overextended too quickly. This is what happens in bull markets, but this is like a pre-halving, cycle section of the bull market. We're still not, full throttle bull market mode just yet. That's going to happen after we break above the all-time high. So after we break above $69,000, our minimal target is going to be $96,000. And I think that can be met by the end of the year, if I'm being honest. And then we have $116,000, which I think is going to be met after a pullback from this point here, from $96,000. So I think we're going to get a pullback from here. You're going to have this massive move, pullback, a move to the upside, and that's going to be that's going to be a bearish divergence already on the RSI, where the price is going to be doing this, the RSI is going to be doing that, essentially what we have here, but on a larger scale. And this is probably when most of the smart people are going to leave the markets, and then they're going to have one last pump, and everyone's going to keep buying in because they'll be filled with hopium to get to 200,000, 150,000, whatever it may be. But the 1.618 target is in fact sitting at $154,000. And you can see that in previous cycles, we always get to the 1.618, if not even higher. So yes, we could expect 150,000, but I want to be taking profits as we go up. I don't want to be waiting for the exact top, and I don't want to sell everything, all at once. That's my strategy. Georgia Rudolph asking for CQT. We'll do CQT. We'll do Polkadot. Hi, Hazik. Hope you're doing well. Could you have a look at FTM? We'll do FTM. Luis Caballos. Hey there. we'll take a look at all of those coins. Okay, so let's start off with the patrons. So I think Luis Caballos is the only patron in the chat. Let me know if any of you are also patrons, because sometimes you guys have different nicknames on different platforms. So we'll take a look at Illuvium. I know a lot of people are talking about this coin. It started going up, and I know there are some issues with they're trying to do a token swap, if I'm not mistaken. But let's see what's going on. So we do have a very nice bull flag here that we're breaking out of, as you can see. So let's go to the weekly chart. Illuvium doing really good in terms of the price action, and you can place the pole of the flag. Essentially, what you do is you place the pole of the flag, which is from the start of the move all the way to the local peak, and then you have the channel down pattern. So you take the pole, you place it at the point of breakout, which is over here, and you get your target, which is $280. And let me actually pull up Illuvium on CoinMarketCap just so we can get an idea of what the market cap. So circulating supply. Okay, so there are differences in the circulating supply calculations between CoinMarketCap and the team themselves. So the total supply is sitting at 7.8 million tokens. Right now we have 3.7 million tokens out in circulation, and the market cap is sitting at $372 million. So we did a few TAs on Patreon for Illuvium, I believe, and I did give you a few zones you can target. For example, $67 here and the 0.5 Fibonacci. But it seems that we're going to be breaking out of this channel down pattern. We briefly lost the 20 MA there, which is fine, and now we're back above it again like nothing happened. So what we can do here is we can set up a Fibonacci retracement from that bottom just to see what our local targets are going to be looking like. And just for clarity, I don't have any Illuvium. I'm not planning to buy any Illuvium right now because the prices are just too high. Like, I'm not going to be buying anything above $70. That's just not something that I want to do. Having said that, that doesn't mean you should follow the same strategy, because I have other coins that I'm dollar cost averaging into. You know, everyone has their own coins. It's totally fine. Doesn't mean it's a bad project at all. So we're going to be looking at $159 here, as long as we're able to pump and break above the local high here at $117. So as long as we break above that, you know, we have a target at 159. If we just retest the same local top and come back down from there, you know, that's not going to be our target. This only becomes an official target after we break above this local top. And so far, we're doing okay. We're printing a higher high here. We do need to keep printing higher lows, which effectively we did print over here. We'll just have to see how this move plays out, because if we run into $117 again and then we come back down, you know, we could be starting a local downtrend here. And as long as we don't break below the October 2023 low, we should be good to go. You know, we can even come back down to $65. You know, $50 is even a possibility. We haven't retested that. And as long as we keep above this local low, then that should be all good to go. And then we print our final higher low, and from there we can continue on. So if you want, you can set up some buy limit orders at, you know, $65, $67 here. You can take a look at these 2 points of contact, and, you know, between $53 and $51.50, you can buy all of that there. That's where I would be buying Illuvium anyway, but let me know what you think. DSLA and Telcoin are coins thinking to dump these for newer low caps that have never had a bull run before. Thoughts on old versus new coins? Obviously, the new coins would have more potential income, obviously. But again, just because it's new doesn't mean that it's going to do better immediately. And as for DSLA, I am bullish on DSLA. So I would not be dumping my DSLA. Telcoin, I don't have Telcoin. I don't follow the project that much, so I don't really know much about it. But again, if you wanna switch to newer coins, that's fine. But that doesn't mean the old coins can't pump. That doesn't mean that the new coins have to outperform the old coins necessarily. It all depends on hype. It all depends on the niche the crypto is working in. So yeah, it's not as simple as new versus old. Now, if we're talking about the OG coins like Dash, like Bitcoin Cash, like Ethereum Classic, then yeah, those coins, I'm not expecting those to break their all-time high prices. That's for sure. And yes, guys, Elorm, hello, Elorm, and make sure you hit the like button. That does help out the channel. Hello from Canada. Hello. Hello, my friend. ANK. Hey, Yazik, I'm a patron. David Banana. Hey there. Opal, please. Louis asked for render. Yeah, so we'll take a look at render as well for Louis or Luis, and then we'll switch over to your. So we'll try to prioritize the patrons first, obviously, and then we'll go to all of the other comments and all the other requests. So let's switch over to render. I think I do have it saved somewhere here. Let me know if the audio and the video are working fine. They should be. There we go. There's render. Yeah, so we did a bit of TA on render. Again, this is the weekly chart. I want to switch to the daily actually for this one. And let's pull up the CoinMarketCap page. So $2.1 billion market cap, 70% out in circulation. Nice max supply there. If we go to all time, so this thing went through a bull market already. We're very close to the previous all-time high. We're just 50% off, I assume. Yeah, around 50% off from the all-time high. So this thing is doing really good. Available on pretty much every single exchange. Like if I didn't have any render, I would not be buying it right now. That's just what I wouldn't do, you know? When you've seen such a strong move to the upside, look at this. Look at this, 1,936%. I'm not buying anything like that, my friend. But if you have bought in already, then that's fine. If you bought in, you know, between $1 to $2, maybe that's fine. Even below $1, perfect. But I would not be getting into this right now. It still can do well. It still can do maybe 10, 15, 20x, but it's already a $2 billion market cap. There are other coins that you can buy, and they'll probably do really well as well. But let's take a look at this. So we did set up this support block here based on a few touches that we had. And I think we did a TA for one of the patrons on Patreon. So we set up this support block $1.26 to $1.14. And then in August 2023, we wicked into that green block. That was a perfect entry point. Look at that. If you had a buy limit order set up at that time, you would have been filled. And if you got filled there, you're up approximately 346% from that point, which is really good. This is why setting up buy limit orders is extremely important, extremely important. And let me set up a fib here. Okay, so we got to the 1.618 there. That's good. Yeah, I mean, render is doing really good. It's really bullish. Higher highs, higher lows. We're doing extremely well. So now if you're looking to buy, right, if you want to get into render, what should you be doing? So you definitely shouldn't be buying these new local highs because the daily RSI is already in the overbought. We are breaking above this local high that we had, which was approximately $5.18. And we do have a nice support level over here. So this support block is where I would be buying some tokens if I was looking to enter, right? So that's going to be between $3.69 down to $3.42. Anything above this, I personally wouldn't be buying. Anything below this is even better, obviously. There's another local low here that we could target at $3.05. But from the current prices, we're looking at a potential 34 to 39 to 45% dump for either of these levels to be met, respectively. And Is that going to happen? I don't know. Obviously, we could absolutely explode from here and get to $8 and then have a retracement to $6 and go and continue the uptrend from there. I don't know what's going to be happening, but if you're potentially expecting a retracement for the entire markets in the short to mid-term future, these prices are potentially going to be met, because a 35% retracement is not a lot for an altcoin. That's not a lot, especially if Bitcoin's going to be having these 25 to 30 to 40% dumps. We could have altcoins going down as low as 50%. That's still a possibility. But that's all I can say for render. We're just pumping. We need to see where we stop. And from there we can, set up a fib retracement with the targets to the downside, and then we can target some of the golden ratios if you want to be a bit more risky and enter off of those. But this is way too high for me. Like, this is way too high. And yeah, that's pretty much render for you. These are the few levels that I would be targeting and buying from. I think DSLA is going to blast off. I think it's going to do really well. I think it's going to go higher than the previous all-time high. But again, don't take my word for it. I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, so let's go to this request. So we'll take a look at OPUL. Not sure what the project is. I'm not sure what that is, but let's pull it up. $28.1 million market cap. Okay, let's go to all time. So they essentially launched during the bull market, during the previous bull market. Okay, so a lot of token dilution here from what I can see. And oops, didn't mean to do that. So Gate, KuCoin, MEXC, Uniswap, still not listed on some of the major exchanges. Now, what is this project? Opulus is the first peer-to-peer decentralized finance platform backed by real-world assets. Interesting. Oops, no, let's do that. 10% APY on stable coins backed by real-world assets. Okay. Music deal acquisition, revenue collection. This does sound interesting. I'm a bit suspicious about the website. Looks very, very basic. Is the team transparent for this one? Has it been doxed? I'll save this project for now. Let me know if the team has been doxed or not, because that's an important factor, always an important factor to consider. Okay, so let's open up OPUL. I guess we can do this one. It's going to show the all-time chart. There we go. Okay, so we're on the weekly chart. Immediately, you can see massive support level there. In case of a black swan event, we're going to be dumping down to that level, and there's going to be a lot of buying pressure from point 0.046. And you also see we have a descending resistance trend line keeping us down. So this doesn't look very good, right? Because this is a descending triangle pattern. There is a chance we're going to see a breakout from here, of course. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see a move to the downside. That's not the case all the time, but this is predominantly a bearish pattern. So in a bearish scenario, what would happen is you would come back down here after either another bounce, or even right now on our way down, we would lose the support level, back test it as resistance, and print some sort of a new low somewhere down there. One could even set up a fib just to get an idea of where that could be, maybe 0.02271 cents. All of this is still possible because we haven't broken above the February 2023 high. We just printed a lower high, and we're still bouncing off of this support trend line, which is very important. As long as we keep this, as long as we hold it, we should be fine. Then we can be looking for a move to the upside from there. And once that happens, what you need to see is you need to pull up the volume indicator. You need to take a look at the volume and see if we actually are properly breaking out, because what sometimes happens is we have a breakout, right? But there is no volume, and that essentially means it's going to be a fake out. So we break out and then we come back down, we dump below the resistance once again. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're bullish on the project, personally, I would start buying in right now. This is a really good area. Looks like a really good area. What we can also do is set up another fib just like that. And let's see. So we're kind of hovering around the 20 EMA. We are already below the 20 EMA, so that's quite negative. We do have another support based on the fib and based on this touch from 2023, okay? And actually another touch here in July 2022. So 0.0878 cents, nice support level for us to hold. Then below that, we do have the 0.236 at 0.06960 cents. So these are the two levels I'd love to hold in order for us to continue this uptrend. Because if we come back down there, we might look for a nice double bottom pattern. But then again, if you're down here, the chances of you losing that support are much higher than they are if you're going to end up coming down to these levels and reversing from there. And again, this is a low cap. Things can change in a second for all of these projects. So make sure you're not overexposing yourself. Make sure you take a look at the vesting schedule and see if we're going to be getting a lot of token unlocks. That's very important to understand, because if we're going to be getting a lot of token unlocks, the chances of those tokens being sold off of you are also very high from the marketing team, from the team, or the early investors, whatever it may be. Yes, all legit. The guy set up Dito, a huge music industry performer for artists. Okay, so yeah, if the team is doxed, then that's great. All right, so I think that covers it for patron reviews. Let me know if anyone else from the patron has joined. We'll take a look at your requests first, but now we can start off with the viewers. So we have Polkadot. Polkadot has been doing quite well. Not as well as one would hope, but it's still doing well. I'm holding my Polkadot. I'm staking it, not planning to sell it anytime soon. Where's my Polkadot? There we go. Let's open up this. So you can see we did run into this resistance here in December. We had a nice pullback to the 20 EMA. And so far, so good. We're holding the 20. We're looking good. We're looking good. If you still don't have any Polkadot, this is probably the last time you'll see it at these lower prices, unless we have a black swan crash sometime in the near future. But $7.77 is extremely cheap. Extremely cheap. Yes, you could have bought it down here below $4. Yes. But if you missed out on that, doesn't mean that you have to miss out on these good prices. We're only up approximately 2x, right? For a high cap altcoin, that is quite a bit. But if you're looking to get into the project, if you are bullish on Polkadot 2.0 and what Gavin Wood and his team are building, we might have a really good bull cycle for the Polkadot ecosystem. I have a lot of Polkadot projects. As for DOT itself, I'm staking it on the Nova wallet, earning passive income, and chilling. I'm not expecting huge candles straight off the bat, but if things go well, we're definitely going to be breaking above this all-time high at $56 or whatever it was. Yeah, around $56. And if Polkadot 2.0 fails, I will sell accordingly. I will be taking profits accordingly. I'm not going to be waiting for new all-time highs. If Bitcoin is sitting at 150K and DOT is sitting at $40, obviously I'm not going to be waiting much longer for my Polkadot to go up. So if you're looking to buy, I would be buying right now. And if we do get any future dumps, I would be buying Polkadot off of those dumps, because those are going to be your last moments to buy, because if we don't get a flash crash, if we don't get a black swan, these are your last moments, because we're very close to the Bitcoin halving, and we're very close to, you know, another massive run, which potentially is going to have Polkadot go up to at least $100, which in my opinion is possible. $80 to $100 is very possible for Polkadot, in my opinion. So there's not a lot to say here. You can start buying in right now. Once we break above this resistance at $8.90, which you can see we did have a bounce off of that level over, where was it? Over here. This was August 2022. And then once again over here. So once we break above that resistance, right? Once we break above that resistance and back test it, we're pretty much confirming that the bear market bottom has been printed, right? So you have this level there. Once you break above it, back test it as support, you know, this is your bear market there. You're not coming back down to those prices again. And once again, this is not financial advice, but if I did not have any Polkadot, I would be buying right now, and I would be sending those tokens into staking. And as for the targets, you know, we can't really predict anything as of yet. We haven't broken above major resistance levels. I'm not planning to take profits at $12 or $17. And again, I'll be looking at what Bitcoin is doing on the side. If Bitcoin is overperforming and doing too well, too quickly, I might be taking profits earlier. But as of right now, my expectation, at least, is breaking the all-time high at the very least is what Polkadot is going to be doing. So this is regarding the previous token that we looked at, which was Opulus. It's the first to do proper music NFTs. They have dozens of artists on board, a bit like Audius. You earn from artist royalties as well as from the token, and also staking. Nice, nice. That does sound pretty interesting, actually. So I did save the project to my watch list, so I'll be taking a look at it. Thank you all for joining. Anyone who's watching, feel free to send in your requests. We'll be taking a look at your altcoins. We've been going live for 30 minutes, so we'll probably have another 30 minutes here, if not a bit more. Okay, so let's take a look at, okay, so Covalent is going to be our next pick here. CQT, great project, great data aggregator. Let's jump into the weekly chart. So taking a look at CQT, what we're doing right now is very good because we are bouncing off of the 20 EMA. We're holding it as support, and that's always great to see. From here, we could have a nice move to the upside. So this is a really good entry point in my opinion. If you want to wait for, you know, lower prices, that's fine. But I'm just saying you might not get those lower prices. So you do have this local high that you could retest potentially. If we're talking about a pullback below the 20 EMA, you could retest 17.5 cents. That is your level to target, because we did reject that in April, in March, in February, and in January 2023. So this is a massive resistance level. And if we're going to be coming back down, that's going to be your first entry point immediately. Of course, if there's a flash crash, Covalent is going to be dropping along with the entire altcoin market. So your next major target is going to be 14 cents, around 14 cents, which is over here. And that does line up nicely with this support over here, with the resistance over here, with the resistance over here. So yeah, we got rejected from 14 cents quite a few times. So coming back down to it, grabbing some liquidity from there, and then moving to the upside is not the worst scenario, right? That's not the worst scenario for you or for me, because I'll be buying more CQT at those prices. And of course, all of my trade alerts, all of my buys, all of my sells, I'm notifying my patrons immediately if I buy anything. Okay, so that's for a few support levels. If we continue with this uptrend, let's say we don't break below the 20 EMA, let's take a look at some targets. So we did get rejected from the 0.5, which is expected, right? This was a massive resistance level over here, or support level, I should say. And then we turned it into resistance by dumping below it. and now we had the first retest there. So the next retest would potentially be up 47 cents once we break the 0.5, of course. That's going to be our target. And do I think we're going to be breaking above the all-time high prices for Covalent? Yes, I think that's a very likely situation that we will see. So the minimal target for us would be the the 1.272 right over here, $3.72. From the current prices, you're looking at 1,700% to the upside. And if we pull up the CoinMarketCap page, I think this is still relatively low. Yeah, $133 million. So a 10x from here would put it at $2 and a $1.3 billion market cap. And a 20x from here would put it at $4 and, of course, a $2.6 billion market cap. And I think that's pretty possible. I do think that's very possible. A few $1 billion market cap is not impossible. Now, if you want to go ahead and say it's going to be a 10 to 15 to $20 billion market cap, well, there are a lot of competitors who are doing the exact same thing for Covalent, so they would have to take a lot of the market share there. And I don't know if they can do that. If they can, that's great. So $5.80, and then we have $11 there. So I would say $5.80 is a more plausible target. That's probably where I would sell 90% of my coins by that point, and I would leave 10% just for them to ride, right? In case we get to $11, that's where I would sell the rest of the tokens. But so far so good. You can start buying into Covalent. Anything below 20 cents is a steal, in my opinion. Really good entry points. And if you dump to 14 cents, you should probably secure a really, really nice bag at 14 cents. Okay, next up, we'll probably do FTM. There we go. Overt. Okay. So FTM, this thing did really well in the last bull market. Let's pull up FTM. I think it's sitting at a few billion. Yeah, $1.1 billion market cap. So if we go to all time, look at the prices in 2019. It's sitting below a cent, and it went to $3. Absolutely crazy. So I don't have any FTM personally. Full disclosure, and let's see. There we go. There is our FTM token. So look at this. Look at this massive move here. So from the March 2020 dump, 211,500%. Imagine the gains. That's crazy. That's crazy. And from the all-time high, we did go down approximately 95%, which is what altcoins usually do. Now, we do have a resistance level here that we're failing to break above at 57 cents. So that's going to be our major target. That's going to be our, so to speak, make or break level. So once we break above that, I think it's safe to say that the bear market bottom has been printed. So we did set up a nice block here, I believe, sometime in 2023, and we retested that in October 2023. From there, we had a nice move to the upside. So from around 17 cents, we did a 240%. And then from that local top, we dumped approximately 45%. And we perfectly retested this level over here at 30 cents. You can see this was a really important level as well. So you had a nice test over there, nice test over there, nice test over here, over here, over here. So 30 cents is really, really strong, a really strong level. If you manage to buy some tokens off of 30 cents with a wick, such as this one, that's going to be great. You're going to be very fortunate if you can do that. And that's going to be a really good entry point at that. Like 30 cents is is what, less than two, like 70% off of the potential bear market bottom there. Now let's set up a Fibonacci retracement to see what our targets could be looking like. So with FTM, you're looking at $7.30 as your minimal target. Okay, let's see if there was some token dilution. Okay, so this was $1.5 billion market cap. This was 1.75. I mean, yeah, I don't think there was a lot of token dilution. 88% of the supply is out, so that's good to see. And the all-time high market cap was $8 billion. So getting to $15 to $20 billion with this, I guess, would be the expectation if you're hoping or you're expecting, waiting for the project to do better this time around, which is possible. I don't own any FTM, so I don't know what the project is doing. I don't know what upgrades they have, what sort of bullish news they have coming out, what partnerships they have. But if all of that is looking really bullish, then there's a really good chance we're going to be seeing a new all-time high for FTM. And the minimal target is going to be $7.32, which is going to put us at roughly $16 to $17 billion market cap. So that sounds plausible, and these would be great exit points for you. But as long as you're accumulating within this range, I would say is really good. You know, as long as you're within this range, it's really good. This does remind me of Chainlink and Bitcoin Cash when we had these 500 plus days of accumulation with massive breakouts afterwards. So you might want to start building your position already if you haven't started doing that yet, because once we break above that resistance at 57 cents, we could have a massive, massive move to the upside. I'm just saying, you know, you could reach $1.10 to $1.79 within a few weeks after the Bitcoin halving if we actually don't do it before that, right? So just be ready for anything to happen in the markets, of course, and having buy limit orders is very important. Once again, set up those buy limit orders at 30 cents, 31 cents. Never have round numbers as well in your limit orders. And what you can also do is set up a fib retracement to the downside. You have another target at 27.5 cents. That's going to be a really good support level. That's the golden ratio for us on this smaller fractal. So yeah, a few levels here you can target. And the lower you go, the better, of course. So the lower you go, the more tokens you should be buying. At least that's what I'm doing for my altcoins. And let's take a look at DSLA. Let's take a look at DSLA. It has performed quite well, in my opinion. And if you're going to be sticking to the end of the stream, we'll be taking a look at some patron low cap gems and how well they've performed. And I'll show you a few coins that haven't really moved as much, right, as some others have. Now, DSLA is one of the coins that we have been targeting for quite a while. I recently bought more DSLA, and I doubled my position essentially. And these prices are looking good. In my opinion, these prices are looking good. We're just below the 20 MA. But if you want to add a few trend lines here, you kind of get an image of what could happen. You kind of see that we're getting suppressed in between two trend lines. We're very close to the apex of this pattern of this symmetrical triangle, right? And you could see an absolute explosion from here into 0.002 cents. And you know, that could happen within the next few weeks. That could happen within the next few days. I don't know. But if I didn't have any DSLA protocol tokens, this is where I would be buying right now. Like, this is one of the tokens that could explode simply by looking at the charts. A lot of altcoins had very similar patterns, and a lot of them broke out and made a lot of money. And DSLA, it's not like DSLA launched pre-bull market of 2021, right? This is KuCoin. Let's go to the chart here. Let's go to the chart to see when the token was listed originally. Okay, so it was August 2020. So it was still very close to the bull market, right? We were already in the bull market, one could say, at that time. So yeah, I don't think this is a proper cycle that DSLA protocol went through. Now that we've gone through a bear market, right, and we haven't went down, we haven't lost the team, it's looking really good. It's actually looking really good. And once again, if I pull up the chart, the breakout here could be massive, and we could go through a proper cycle this time, and we could print new all-time highs, 4 cents, 5 cents, let's say 9 cents. All of that is very possible. We just have to be patient. We just have to wait. And if you're bullish on this security protocol, feel free to buy more tokens right now. The DSLA team has been building, yes. So obviously you don't want to be overexposed to low caps, but going back to the market cap, like it's sitting at $5 million, $5.6 million. This is insane. This could easily do 100x. Going to $563 million market cap, that's nothing. Look, it was sitting at $150 million market cap less than a year after it was listed. So actually, it got launched in April 2020. My bad. What do you think about CRO coin? So I don't really like these exchange coins, to be honest with you. I don't really like them. I have a small amount of BNB simply for fees, but I don't hold any of these centralized exchange coins. The only one that I would probably buy would be KuCoin. That's the only one that I would probably buy below $7 maybe. But I don't have any centralized exchange coins. I'm definitely not buying BNB for holding. That's for sure. Okay, so we looked at DSLA. Armando77, please go over Unigraph protocol. So I haven't heard of this one before. Let's take a look at Unigraph. Okay, so the token is still not listed. Okay. The site can be reached. I don't think I can turn on a VPN right now. $419 followers. What is this type of coin? What is this coin, my friend? Graph powers an ecosystem of DeFi dApps to help control and monitor users' DeFi positions. Are you sure this is the project that DeFi USDT? Please see the chart. We'll take a look at DeFi, my friend. GRPH. I'm pretty sure that's the token. Okay, no. GRPH. So GRPH, I think this is what you're referring to. Yeah, I think this is what you're referring to. Okay. Yeah, this is it. Okay, let's pull up the website. And let's read about the project. So Unigraph aims to solve the following issues. Bitcoin-based token standards such as BRC20 have grown to billions of dollars in TVL, but these protocols are guarded by centralized and closed source indexers, often maintained by single entities. This creates a centralized point of failure and potential attack vector for the growing DeFi ecosystem on Bitcoin. Open-sourced, Unigraph aims to solve this issue by creating the first open-source decentralized indexer for Bitcoin token standards. The Unigraph will be managed by a network of node operators where anyone can participate based on staking graph tokens. This secures and decentralizes token standards on the Bitcoin network and allows for new DeFi primitives to be created in a non-custodial way, paving the way for trustless DEXs, lending markets, stablecoin protocols, and more. Graph is a utility token that powers the Unigraph ecosystem. Node operators work together to provide data, access to users, and receive graph rewards. Okay. Now I did hear some people raising this issue of centralization on the BRC20 ecosystem. The website looks kind of cool, but a bit annoying at the same time. Roadmap is very simple, without dates, without... Okay. Q2 of 2024, I presume, is what they're referring to here. Now, how long have they been out for? 12.8 thousand followers. Is listing on MEXC. Okay. February 14th. I don't see the token trading anywhere. So did the token list or what? What happened? Can someone give me some... With the amount of marketing out there, it's hard not to hold CRO. Yeah, I mean, FTX also had a lot of marketing. They also had stadiums, and they also had a bunch of hyped commercials. So the marketing part is not necessarily a selling point for me. It is for a lot of people, and it is for especially the retail investors that are coming in after the bull market has already caught fire. But I'm just not going to be buying centralized exchange coins, because if they go under, everything's gone, right? I'm not even trying to hold any tokens on centralized exchanges. I'm trying to put everything into cold storage as much as I can. But regarding this protocol, so it does seem interesting. Obviously, adding a decentralization layer to BRC is very nice. If all of the tokens are out in circulation, that's really good. Let's try to search up this token on TradingView here. Okay, there we go. So it did list on... Okay, so it did list on MEXC. So you can buy this on MEXC. The problem is it's dumping, which is expected after a listing. That's not something new. I mean, it looks bullish. If you want to get some tokens right now, you can start buying in. I don't see an issue with that. What's the market cap, though? I'd bet the market cap is very low as well, if not below $1 million. Let me know if you can get some information, or where I can get more information on the project. They're not following anyone, so I can't really see. And they don't have the team listed here or anything like that. Is the team doxed? It looks interesting, but I'd have to do more research into this. I can't really say if this is a good project or not in terms of, whether it's a rug pull or not. But thanks for the request. I'll definitely save it, and I'll keep an eye on it. Okay. When you have time left, bro, can you do also audio? Thanks, bro. We'll take a look at audio. So we have 53 minutes. Okay. So Hamid Rahim. Okay, so we'll try to keep it at least 1 or 2 per person, because there are some other ones that I want to look at, and I want to show some altcoins of my own. So let's do Moonbeam. Let's do GLMR. There we go. So GLMR, a lot of people are bullish on the project, especially the viewers of my channel really like GLMR. Now, if you've watched my previous videos on GLMR, if you've watched the few recent ones that I did, we talked about this support block between 36 and 34 cents, and we retested all of that perfectly. Perfect pinpoint accuracy here with this block. From there, we went up approximately 33%. So if you manage to buy in at the current prices, great. That's really good for you. We bounced off the 20 MA Personally, I would not be buying in right now. Just like I said, I would not be buying in at those prices there. I would wait for a pullback, and this is where I would be getting in. So after that video, I would have set a buy limit order, and I would have been filled at that point already. So the same thing kind of applies right now, although it depends on how bullish this move is going to be. So if we start moving up like this, obviously we break this high and we get super bullish. With the next pullback, we're probably not going to be going down to 36 to 34 cents. However, if we end up printing a lower high and then we start a retracement, I would be waiting for these prices as well. On top of that, I would probably be waiting for 32 to 28.5 cents to be met. If we're going to fail this next move to the upside and we're going to start printing a lower high, that's going to be an important thing to look at. Also depends on what Bitcoin's doing. If Bitcoin's going to start pulling back down, then regardless of what's happening here, we're going to see a pullback. Now, some altcoins do have exceptions sometimes, like Injective, where it just keeps pumping even when Bitcoin is dumping. But for GLMR, it usually is reliant on Bitcoin. So I would wait for prices below 40 cents, specifically this support block. I would not be buying anything above 40 cents. That's just personally me. If you want to be buying at the current prices, that's fine. But just make sure you have buy limit orders set up below. So 32 cents, 34, 36, and 28.5, and never have round numbers. So when you have 32 cents, make sure to add a few digits after 32, just so it's not 32 cents on the dot. Otherwise, a lot of people are going to have the exact same prices as you, exact same limit orders. And when the price hits that exact level, it could bounce from there and you're not even going to get filled. So if a lot of people have, set up the exact, price over here, what you do is you set your buy limit order slightly higher so that when the price dumps, you get filled and then it bounces off. And then some people don't get filled here. Sometimes what also happens is that the price comes down, it reverses, you got filled here. The people that were waiting down here at 32 on the dot are going to be forced to buy higher. So that's just a little psychology trick for you to use. And that really does help out sometimes. Like that helped me out a lot. Will GLMR pump if DOT doesn't? That's a good question. So I don't think that the Polkadot ecosystem tokens are going to be doing as well if Polkadot is not going to be pumping. So of course, DOT has a direct effect on its ecosystem. Nikola Mitrovic, Picasso. We'll take a look at Picasso, I think. So we have Thammer 10. 1 inch, please, short term and long term. Let's take a look at 1 inch. So the current market cap is at $521 million. I thought it was going to be much higher, to be honest with you, but I'm surprised. Well, the prices are really low for this. However, we can see that there is some token dilution. Yeah, we can see there's some token dilution because the all-time high market cap was 1.2 billion, and we're already sitting at almost half of that. So we dumped down to 200-ish million. Yeah, 237 million. So if you're bullish on this DEX, just simply by looking at this coin market cap page, I would say feel free to buy in. But let's pull up the actual chart. Okay, let's do Binance. Let's see if Binance has. Okay, so I remember doing some TA on this back in the day. And what ended up happening here is that, yeah, we went slightly lower than this support level at 26 cents. Did go slightly lower than that. We did dump down to the yellow trend line. Of course, this yellow support trend line was really important. We were covering all of this in that previous, I think we covered this on a live stream. I can't remember for sure, but we did have a nice move to the upside from there. So if you were buying anything around 20 cents, you're up approximately 2x, which is really good. Now, the important thing here is that we broke above this massive resistance trend line that has been keeping us down since April 2022. So this is going to be a really important level for us to break above it. $2. That is going to be our villain, essentially our main villain of this whole thing. And once we're above that, I think it's safe to say that the bear market bottom has been printed. So from that price, we're looking at 345% to the upside. We're still relatively low. Like, we're still sitting very low within the realms of this sideways channel here. As you can see, we're still very low. And if you don't have any tokens, this is where I would start to buy more. Now, whether we are going to be able to go back above whether we're going to be going above the all-time high prices is an entirely different question. Because once again, we did have some token dilution. If we go back to $1.2 billion market cap, which is essentially slightly more than a 2x, so 130%. So we're going to be sitting at our all-time high market cap when we get to $1, essentially. So that means that we're going to need a lot more money in the markets for us to actually break above the all-time high price there at $7. The reason why we got there is because we did not have a lot of tokens in circulation, or we had less tokens than we do now. And like I said, if we're going to be going back to $1.2 billion, which was the previous all-time high market cap wise, it's going to take us to $1 per coin. So if we're going to be going to, okay, hold on. Yeah, so if we're going to be going to, let's say, so this is 1.2. So $1 is roughly 1.2 billion. If we're going to be going to, let's say, $5, okay, that's going to be a $6 billion market cap. $6 billion market cap. So it's a 6x, slightly, it's a 5x essentially from the all-time high market cap. And that would only take us to $5. So we're not even going to be able to break above the all-time high with a $5 billion market cap. That's something to understand. So I would be taking profits the closer we get to these all-time high prices. And of course, there is a chance that we could go even higher and get to $50, right? Anything can happen. But on a more realistic level, you have to understand there are a lot of DEXs right now, and the token inflation did screw up things for the price here. And I don't know if we're going to be able to break above the all-time high there. Retesting it would be really good, in my opinion. Retesting $7.30 would be really good. But again, I don't know if we can even do that. Depends on what news we have, depends on how bullish it gets, depends on how well the DEX performs during these times when there's a lot of demand. So be careful with 1 inch is all I'm going to say. Not saying it's a bad project or anything, but if you're expecting like $15, we might not get that. Of course, by all means, we can get to a $10 to $15 billion market cap, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that way just because you want it to, right? If we see a lot of volume, a lot of demand, and we're breaking through these resistance levels quite rapidly after the halving, that's great. If we're still, somewhere down here after the halving, that's a red flag. That's a huge red flag for 1 inch, and I would be careful. I would be careful holding huge amounts of it. Thanks for the DSLA analysis. No problem, my friend. No problem. So hopefully that answers the question regarding 1 inch with short to midterm. As for short term, let's say, just so we're clear here, short term, we can continue this uptrend on the weekly. We're doing very well right now. We're holding the 20 MA. Everything is looking perfect. So what we need to do is we need to start breaking some resistance levels. It's possible we're going to run into this block here. As you can see, this kept us down since October 2022 between 63 to 55 cents. So it's possible we're going to continue this uptrend until we run into that block and then have a retracement from there. So if you're looking to swing trade, these are the levels I would be looking at. Again, there's a possibility for us to break above that and get very parabolic immediately. But I would be careful. I would be careful. with swing trading, especially closer to the Bitcoin halving. We might have an impulsive move across the board for every altcoin. So just be careful. Short term, like I said, retesting this resistance would be the first thing. And if you're looking to buy, the 20 EMA is your best friend in this situation. The 20 EMA has been really good here. We flipped it to support. We're doing very good. Like, this is really good for 1 inch. So yeah, hopefully that explains what I think about 1 inch. All right, so let's take a look at DeFi, and I'll take a look at, I'll show you guys some of the low caps, some of the altcoins from my Patreon, and we'll probably end the stream there. So DeFi, let's go to DeFi. Isn't this the token that was just airdropped to everyone? 40 million. No, it wasn't airdropped then, I guess. Interesting. January 31st. And let's pull up. Let's pull up the price. Okay, so we're not even listed on many exchanges from what I can see. KuCoin. Okay, so we'll do KuCoin then. Yeah. So taking a look at DeFi, not a lot of data here, so immediately there's not a lot I can do for you. But we can set up a few fib levels here just to see what our targets to the downside are going to be looking like. So 1.618 here to the downside is sitting at 26 cents. You can set up some buy limit orders at 26 cents. That could be a really good entry. We could also go even lower. We could also have the capitulation down to the second fib based on this fractal here. So based on this low and this high and this low, right? We're dumping down. We can continue dumping for as long as the token wants to keep dumping. We just got listed, so a lot of people are selling. Obviously, the early investors are probably taking profits. Look at this wick here at $1. People were dumping this thing. So I would stay away from something like this. If you already bought in, and I assume you probably bought in somewhere here if you're asking for the TA, because that's what a lot of people do with these newer projects. I personally stay away from them until they find their bottoms. And as of right now, it doesn't look like the bottom is in. At least we don't know that yet. Once the bottom is in, once we start pumping, you can start looking at what we do. So if we don't break above this resistance over here, right, we just have a move to the upside like that, print a lower high, and we continue moving to the downside. You know, this is essentially a downtrend here. So you want to be buying, the lower you are, the more you want to be buying, of course. But I'm just saying, if you buy in right now, which is still a good buying point, but if you buy in right now, there's a chance you might see another, 20% dump from that price. That's something to understand. And I really don't know a lot about the project, so I can't. July 2020. Okay, so this is the DeFi. Okay, has grown over 5 million users, and they're finally doing a token airdrop, right? 1 billion token max supply for DeFi. Okay, that's pretty good. So what I would be doing if I wanted to get into DeFi is I would slowly start buying in these lows over here at approximately 28 cents. And then I'd set up some buy limit orders as we go lower. So 26, 27, 23, 24, 25 cents. And if we have a nice wick, you get filled. And once we start going back up, your average buy-in price is going to be somewhere below $30, 30 cents, which is going to be really good. So that's everything for DeFi. So let's take a look at some of the low caps that we covered on Patreon and how well they've performed. So Altura is something that we bought in. And I believe my average is, like, we bought in at 3 cents, somewhere down here, I believe. No, hold on. Not true. Let me see the daily. Okay, so yeah, so we did buy around about 3-4 cents over here. We bought some at some of these lows here as well. And now the project is once again shooting up, which is great. So Altura, a gaming infrastructure project. If you see this thing dumping down to 5 to 4 cents, feel free to take advantage of that. We were also covering A-Star. We were covering at these prices. I gave you good entry points at around about 5 to 4 cents. If you manage to get in, that's good. One project that still hasn't pumped is Alchemy Pay. This is still recovering. One other project that I want to show you is, you probably know this one, is GraphLink. So GraphLink, we were buying all the way down here. We were buying all of this down here, and this went up approximately, 11x. So really good entry for GLQ. ISPOLink is starting to move to the upside as well. Injective, we bought Injective all the way down here in September 2022. So we're up approximately 30x on this coin already. IMX, we were buying IMX at 50 cents over here. We were buying IMX over here on Patreon. So if you were following the Patreon, if you got in the coins that I got after doing your own research, of course, you're looking at really good profits here. Polygon, we were buying at 50 cents down here. Look at where Polygon is right now. Moonriver, we were buying Moonriver down here at these prices, $7 to $8 to $6. Crazy gains. What else do we have? Pocket Network. We were buying Pocket all the way down here. Like my average, I believe, is around 6 cents or something, but we were mentioning and talking about Pocket on Patreon throughout this bear market. So 10x at least you could have made on this coin. So these are the coins that already performed really, really well from our Patreon. And we have a whole list of low caps that we mentioned on Patreon, and it's attached in the Patreon Telegram chat. So hopefully some of you were able to get into those coins. Hopefully we're going to have one last dump before we can actually fly into the bull market. I really hope we have another crash. If we don't, I'm totally fine with what I have right now. I think we can do really, really well with the coins that we have. And we still are buying a few coins here and there as we get more opportunities to do that, because you can't really buy everything since most of the coins are pumping. Another coin is CRU. We were buying it down here, I believe, at 60 to 50 cents. So as long as you can buy coins that still haven't done massive gains, you're still good to buy. But if you're looking to buy coins like GLQ at the current prices, I would say you have to cool down a bit. You have to wait for a retracement. So Polkadot is still good to buy. Energy Web is seeing a nice move to the upside. Our average is around about, I think, $2, maybe something around that. Fetch, we were buying Fetch at around about, 30 cents here. Yeah, it's crazy how everything is going up. One other coin that I wanted to mention, and Polygon Matic is already almost at $1. So one other token that I want to mention to you guys, just for those of you watching this live stream, I mentioned this on Patreon a few times, but Talus Protocol is essentially an NFT platform on Injective. And I do have a few NFTs over there. And this token is really, really low, $1.35 million. It's not listed anywhere even. So feel free to do your own research into this if you wanna get some Talus off of Helix. And this is just something for you to look into. We might have a lot of volume coming into these NFT platforms, especially the ones built on Injective, since Injective is really bullish. Then this project can do really well. Maybe a 50x from here is plausible. So that's going to cover it for Rose. Still not too late. So as for Rose, I was looking to get into Oasis, to be honest with you. But it's already too high, 840 million. I mean, I know that sounds a bit greedy as I'm waiting, I get it, but 846 is way too high. If we see a dump, I'll definitely get into the project. So let's take a look at the price real quick. QR, where's our Rose? There we go. And we were talking about Rose as well. We were talking about this inverse head and shoulders pattern that we had, right? We were talking about all of that. And look at this breakout. We essentially, we took out the target. We took out the target on the dot from this inverse head and shoulders pattern. Like on the dot, 15 cents met perfectly. So what I would be waiting for here is a move back down to around 7 cents. That's where I would think about getting some tokens that would still be only, only a 2x from the bear market bottom there. But as of right now, I did some videos on this, so we did cover this on YouTube as well. So if you listened, if you watched, if you did your research, you would have entered somewhere down here, and right now you're sitting at really good gains. But for me, it's a bit too high. AI tech, please. So Qasim, thank you for joining, but we're just about to finish the stream. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to take a look at those coins, unfortunately. We'll do a video on AI tech on Patreon for you, my friend. So don't worry about that. We'll cover AI tech. So thank you, Overt. Thank you for joining the live stream. Thank you all for joining the live stream. It's very much appreciated. Breakaz says Bitcoin Cash. Did Bitcoin Cash bottom? So feel free to join the live stream tomorrow. We'll be doing another one tomorrow, and we'll cover all of the coins that we didn't cover today. If you're a patron, feel free to send a request on my Patreon or on Telegram, and we'll take a look at the coins there for you. If you haven't checked out the Patreon, feel free to do so. 7-day free trial. You get access to all of my coins, all of the 3 of my portfolios. We have a lot of low caps for you to look into and potentially invest if that's what you're looking for. I showed you multiple examples of coins doing really well, and we've bought those coins, some of the coins we bought in September 2022, like I said, coins like Injective. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you all enjoyed the live stream. Hopefully you all learned something useful. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. Thank you and take care.